Welcome back everybody to episode 11 of my Luck of the Irish series. In this episode I'm going to be reviewing the film In Fear. Driving to a music festival in Ireland, a new couple becomes lost and are then set upon by a tormentor with an unknown motive. Part of that actually sounds very familiar. Not sure if you all would remember, I did a film called The Devil's Woods. Basically that film was two couples are traveling to a music festival in Ireland. In this film, the pub, the exterior shot of the pub, and just the pub in general reminded me so heavily of that specific scene in The Devil's Woods where they go to this pub that's across from a gas station and they kind of piss off the locals. And in this film, not really different because it opens on the main two characters running out of the pub. We find out later that the locals were pissed off, and we also see the locals driving out around the same time that the couple drives off. It's basically the same scene, two different movies. Shots might be different, cameras might be different, but like the story beats and stuff are exactly the same. This one, it actually looks a lot better. The cinematography is very good in this film. As most films that are shot in Ireland, it's got landscape shots that look very beautiful. Another similarity to a review I did was to a film called Dead End from 2003. Basically in that film it's one long unending road, and it's almost like the characters enter into the twilight zone and then they can't seem to break out of this never-ending road. In this one it's very similar, but it's like a maze of roads and they're basically going around in circles and stuff like that, so they get lost. This one was much better than that one at using that story element. The characters were more likable in this film, I'd say, than in Dead End. Some people might disagree with me, but this film basically takes elements from The Devil's Woods and Dead End and does it so much better. Because if you remember, I didn't necessarily like either of those films, but they had their own quirks. They were alright films. It's just the framing of this film is very good. It's well written, editing is great, the lighting is good in it, even though most of the film actually takes place in a car. It's decently acted, and it actually stars, honestly I get the two characters mixed up, but if you remember the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there was a, I guess you could say, couple but very close friends if anything, and they went by the name Fitzsimmons, and I forget which one's which, but the male actor is also in this one. The chemistry is believable between the main characters. It does feel like they just started, I guess, seeing each other a couple weeks prior to that point in the story. It's actually intense in some parts, which I really liked and I wasn't really expecting. Overall, it just improved upon like the issues that I had with both those other films, Devil's Woods and Dead End. The pacing is good, dialogue is funny at times. There was a few times where a character or two would say a one-liner and I would chuckle a little bit. The story is executed perfectly. As I've kind of said before, it's a similar story to the other two films, but does it much better. The mystery of the film is well executed and portrayed, but the film, like watching it, I got the feeling like I've kind of seen this before, but I can't remember where. Like the killer ends up being just one person instead of multiple, and he gets in the back of the car, and it just also felt like that interaction felt like I've seen that before in a movie. Honestly, I don't know which movie it was. If any of you watching this know which movie that was, be sure to put it down in the comments, because I'm probably just gonna go crazy trying to think of it, and it might not even be true to begin with. It might not. It's just got that familiar, I can't even talk right now. but you get what I'm saying. It just has that sense of almost deja vu type thing. The psychological aspect of it is perfect and it's well executed. I don't have much negative things to say about this film. Yes, it could have been better. Certain things they could have done differently and stuff like that. If I had to give it a rating, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Didn't quite hit that 9 mark, but it was, I don't know, it just wasn't, I think it just didn't have enough like scary elements to it. It was more like the psychological thing, and it didn't, there could have been more. They could have made it more intense in some scenes and stuff like that. I can't remember where I actually saw it. I think it might have been on YouTube. I think I rented it there. If you get a chance to watch it, be sure you do. It's a decent film. Stay tuned for the other films coming up. I got a fair bit of interesting ones, and a couple days I'm gonna be reviewing a film, debut film from a very well-known filmmaker, and I didn't even realize it when I put this list together. Stay tuned for that one. See you in the next one.